were well worth the wait. 99 points in that game, and so many records set in terms of ACC scoring. 17 three-point field goals, 28 assists, the most in an ACC game this season. And one player that was making the most of every pass she received was the ACC Freshman of the Week, Priscilla Williams. She scored a career-high 26 points, 9 for 9 from the field. She didn't miss a field goal in the game plan. Errant pass does not matter. She caught everything and got it to go. Quentin Hillsman said she is one of the happiest players he has ever coached, and I know she was smiling big after this one. 6'2", when she catches it on the wing, she can see over the defense, and when she gets going, boy, she can get the three ball to go.
And that was tonight's Player Spotlight, brought to you by Geico. And such a dynamic player for Coach Q. Priscilla Williams, shooting 56% from three-point range in ACC games. And so outside performance from her. For Carolina, it's the inside presence of Janelle Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey is the calming factor for this young Tar Heels team on both ends of the floor. In the half court, they will run a lot of their offense through her, both inside and outside, as well as at the high post. And she's in the best shape of her career, which helps her versatility. And because the Tar Heels have struggled on offense as of late, she will have to be at her best.
So North Carolina and Syracuse tipping off for the second time this season. They actually were supposed to play in Syracuse on New Year's Eve. That did not happen because Syracuse was in COVID protocol. And right away, the inside shot is off the mark. There you take a look at the North Carolina starting lineup. They have a lot of youth on this team. They use 5 different starting lineups in their first 11 games. Courtney Banghart in her second season in charge of the Tar Heels after a great career at Princeton. The Syracuse starting 5 also with Williams and Cardoso. Those are freshmen, and we're so happy to see Tiana Monacahia back after taking all of last year to recuperate from cancer.
North Carolina starting off in a man-to-man defense. When 6'7" Camila Cardoso caught it in the post on that last possession, no double team. They're just going to play her straight up.
And the outside shot from Kiera Lewis, the redshirt senior, started her career at Ohio State. And boy, Syracuse is a team that likes to take a lot of threes.
And when they get the three to go, they will set up their pressure, as we just saw there coming up the court. That will be a challenge for this young North Carolina team, is not only looking for their shots and hitting some shots against the Syracuse zone, but also the pressure that they can bring in the full court.
That's a really nice look right at the free throw line. Janelle Bailey able to knock it down, leading this team in both scoring and rebounding.
And that's something that North Carolina did well in the first matchup between these two teams, was just find the gaps in the zone, whether it's short corner or high post. They were very patient, but they also got a lot of transition scoring as well.
This is one of the freshmen, Alyssa Utsby, #1, kid out of Minnesota. Outside shot, and that is buried by Deja Kelly, another of the freshmen for Coach Banghart.
Yeah, North Carolina's coming off of 2 straight losses, and one of the problems, as we spoke to Courtney Banghart, was just that her team hasn't hit shots. She likes the shots they're taking, but it's one of those things where missing can be contagious, and it has been for this Tar Heels team. They have been in somewhat of a drought as far as their scoring percentages.
Yeah, you're right. In fact, in losses this year, North Carolina shooting only 19% from beyond the arc, and that has certainly been a problem for Coach Banghart. We actually did their last game against Virginia Tech. They had more of the same scoring droughts, and they're just trying to figure it out. It sounds like that's basketball 101, right? We just have to make our shots, but they've been getting good shots. They just have not been going in. Stratmana delivers at the line, the senior from Latvia, who has started every game of her career.
We mentioned the last meeting between these two teams, and you see some of the numbers here, but the one that stands out is what you spoke to, Pam, and Syracuse only shooting 29%. So both of these teams have gone the way their three-point shot goes. When they're shooting well, they're playing well. And, you know, you could say that about every team in the country, but these two teams in particular need to spread the floor based on how their rosters are built.
A nice block. Stratmana coming out to get a hand on it. She's among the top 15 in blocks in the Atlantic Coast Conference so far. And from the outside, can you believe it? Priscilla Williams hits again.
When you have 28 days between contests, you wonder, is it going to be great because you got rest, or will there be rust? Well, the freshman Priscilla Williams is not rusty at all from long range.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Quentin Williams about that. He said that he only had his team out playing, what did he say, about 7 minutes, where they were playing 5-on-5 the day before they played Miami. And then they went out and scored 99 points, and Williams literally didn't miss a shot. North Carolina, is that Holoshinska who hit from the outside. She had been in a slump, but came alive a little bit against Virginia Tech, where she hit 3 threes. And that's a hard foul that sends Manakahia to the court.
I thought Tiana Mangakahia looked as comfortable as I've seen her on the offensive end in their last game. And right here, just good hesitation and good patience. And that's one thing that Quentin Hillsman talked to us about on our call, was that, you know, he just told Tiana not to press. He felt like she was pressing a bit. She's dealt with an injury so far this season. You can imagine how anxious she was to get back out on the court. But he said, use your offense to set up the rest of your game. And right there was a very good-looking shot and a good read.
Hurt her foot in a game earlier this year, had to miss a game. Tiana went 615 days between games, missing all of last season. And here's the steal by Williams. Contact with no foul, and Tiana misses from inside. Good opportunity for Syracuse on the break, and nothing going. And then on the other end, North Carolina is able to convert, and that's Alyssa Utsby, that freshman that we just talked about, who has just a bright future ahead of her, already a pretty good present.
She never takes a play off. I mean, she's going to go to the glass on every possession, makes pretty good decisions with the basketball, can play a little bit of everywhere on the floor. Just the type of all-out effort you want to see from a freshman finding her way on the college level.
Well, Lasinska goes out. Now Stephanie Watts coming in. Stephanie Watts, my old colleague Carolyn Peck would say bless her heart, because Stephanie Watts has missed 20 straight three-point shots. And LaChina, she's one of the best in the history of North Carolina basketball at three-point shooting, but has just been off this year.
Yeah, she has. I mean, I'm sure that the entire bench is going to get up and erupt when she hits that first three. 0 for 20 from long range in her last 5 games. And Syracuse with another drive. They've been very successful on the offensive end. We talked about the three-point shot, but they've been able to take it off of the bounce. And there's Watts.
Stephanie Watts has hit from 3, just coming in off the bench, and that must feel like the weight of the world off her shoulders. Again, she had missed her last 20 from distance. Her first 3 since December the 10th against Wake Forest, and it gets Carolina to within 1.
Boy, that had to feel good.
A nice inside pass, and North Carolina with the paint points as they get the finish from Shatenge.
Yeah, really good rhythm to this game. Both teams have settled in offensively. Syracuse has been setting a lot of high ball screens, and here a steal from Watts.
Wow, that's a great start for Stephanie Watts. Courtney Banghart talked about how she had been in the gym maybe too much, working on her shots, just trying to come up with some sort of a solution, and that's got to help. The steal and the layup just building her confidence. Inside, Lewis somehow was able to score. That ends a 9-2 North Carolina run.
Yeah, good read. And once again, Syracuse coming off of that high ball screen and just finding either a space to get to the rim or a nice pass.
That pass off the hands of Shatenge. And Manakahia inside. Enksler with the finish.
Beautiful vision there by Tiana Mangakahia. That's what we've been missing.
Absolutely spectacular player from Australia, averaging over 6 assists per game. That is first in the ACC. Watts a little bit too strong that time. Rebound chased down. As we go to break, Stephanie Watts has hit a 3.
North Carolina looking to pull off a big win against a ranked opponent on the road. And this is a great sign for the Tar Heels. Stephanie Watts gets it to go from three-point range.
Men's basketball coming your way Wednesday night. That's tomorrow night when the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest go into the Dean Dome to take on the Tar Heels. Right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app that comes your way at 7 Eastern Time. Tiana Manakahia doing what we've missed so much.
Yeah, she's one of the best passers in the country. And when you look at how she plays the game, she's always looking at another option or setting up the next pass. And right here, she's coming down in a fast break situation. She was looking at Digna Strautmana, who was on the wing right here, as though she was going to pass it to her. And here goes Anxler, who's in the best shape of her career, running the floor, first player back. And that was just a beautiful feed for Manakahia.
Yeah, Manakahia coming back, a little soft tissue injury in her foot. They're managing her minutes a little bit, so she is now off the floor. Anxler gets inside. The ball goes back over to North Carolina. Yeah, Emily looks different than she did last year.
Yeah, I mean, she just did a heck of a job in the offseason, lost a lot of weight, put on muscle, and you can see it in every aspect of her game, especially also on the defensive end. And speaking of some defense, here's Cuse with the pressure and steal.
Fisher, one of the freshmen coming in to get the bucket, had 11 points in the first game against North Carolina, but fouled out in only about 16 minutes. And that deep bench, as we see Maeva Jaldi-Tabdi, number 3, coming in as well for Syracuse.
And keeping in mind that Amaya Finkley and Talia Washington, neither player is available for this game due to staggered contact tracing. So that does cut into the rotation a little bit for Quentin Hillsman, both in the post and the perimeter. 2 players that really give good contributions when they're on the court.
Anya Poole, freshman from Raleigh, hits 1 out of 2 shots after getting fouled by Jaldi-Tabdi. Quentin Hillsman talked to him about managing minutes, and he said that according to him, he has 7 starters. A lot of his players don't get caught up in that. That's a good defensive play by Kelly, looking for help, and finally is able to get it out of harm's way and count it. Stephanie Watts already with 7.
She looks like a new player, new person. She's got a new attitude. Stephanie Watts hits the 3 earlier in the game. We saw her get a layup from her defense, and right here, opportunistic little Euro step, uses the glass. Beautiful.
Yeah, a little bounce in the step for Watts, who left North Carolina, got her degree a couple of years ago, went to Southern Cal as a grad transfer, only played in 4 games before she got hurt. Misses the free throw, but Watts off to a terrific start. Jaldi-Tabdi picked up 2 quick fouls for Syracuse.
And that's when not having Amaya Finkley hurts you, because Finkley is a great defender and just it has that experience, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and so you can't afford to really get into foul trouble in the post in a game like this and feel good about it.
Wow, give Watts a nice assist.
The pace. North Carolina has gotten quite a few fast break buckets. Syracuse just not getting back, and that's something we saw happening in game 1 between these two. Is North Carolina just getting out and running. Here, Watts keeps her head up, gets some air under it. Beautiful pass to Todd Williams, who is great at running the floor, very long, and gets right to the rack.
And 9 fast break points already for North Carolina. We've already had 5 lead changes, what has been a very good first quarter.
Oh, I thought Bailey might have gotten away with a walk there.
I think she was shocked when she turned around that nobody was guarding her.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say that no one blew the whistle.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that too, but no harm, because they did not score. Manakahia after short break is back on the floor for Syracuse. Tough bounce pass inside, but a nice catch. Cardozo, the freshman from Brazil.
Yeah, great pass there once again by Manakahia. I'm surprised that Syracuse has not established Cardozo on the block, because North Carolina was not looking to double her early in this game. They were going to play her one-on-one, and there's no one that has the height that can really deal with Cardozo.
hardly anybody in the country. Cardoso is 6'7", McDonald's All-American. She is from Brazil, played some high school ball in the U.S., and is the highest rated recruit in the history of Syracuse.
She has only missed 2 field goals in the last 20 attempts. So she has been keeping the ball high, good finisher. You see the numbers there. Number 5 overall recruit. And you can imagine the kind of future that she and Priscilla Williams are going to have at Syracuse. And she reminds me a lot of Kayla Alexander. And I'm sure Cuse fans will remember that name. What a career she had for the Orange.
Nakahia, after being fouled by Watts, hits both free throws. Syracuse in the bonus for the rest of the quarter as we go inside. 45 seconds left to go. Bailey, they've left her alone in that spot. Missed her last couple from out there. Nakahia gets it up to Cardoso, who tried to go across court, and Bailey was able to grab it.
Yeah, Cardoso may have been a little too deep for that pass.
Kick it out. Bailey that time missed, and you see Cardoso using that 6'7" frame to go up, and now the shot clock is off for Nakahia and Syracuse. Tiana draws the double, kicks it out. Cardoso can't get the follow, but Syracuse with a 3-point lead after the first quarter of play.
Yeah, what a first quarter of basketball between these two teams. A lot of fun, just a 3-point game. Back and forth, some transition, some good defense to steals. Williams, the ACC Freshman of the Week, she's here from 3-point line checking in. And then Janelle Bailey from the free throw line. And how about a Tiana in transition for 2?
ACC Network Basketball is presented by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance. A beautiful balmy day in Syracuse, about 35 degrees outside. Very good first quarter. Pam Ward along with LaChina Robinson. Syracuse leading North Carolina by 3. Tiana Nakahia off to a good start with her team. Both squads shooting at least 50% from the floor in the first quarter.
More important than that, the 3-point line. Carolina shooting 50%, 3 for 6, and Syracuse 2 for 5. So what that says is good balance for these teams, and they're feeling good at noon. It's hard to get up for a noon game sometimes, Pam, you know? It's not the norm.
Especially for those kids. Block out of bounds by Utsby. I remember talking to Jim Foster once when he was a coach at Vanderbilt. He said his kids would rather play at midnight than at noon.
At noon, I know. Get to sleep. Little fake there by Nakahia. Took a spill, but Cuse will keep the possession.
Tiana in that first quarter had 3 assists and no turnovers coming in. Tiana only had one more assist, than turnovers this season, which is very unusual for her. North Carolina, good defense, but look at Angsler. She just stuck right with it.
And I was saying earlier that that's where you see a big difference with Angsler with her fitness, is how much lighter she is on her feet defensively.
Todd Williams into Utsby, a couple of really impressive freshmen. North Carolina going through some growing pains right now, lost a couple in a row, but boy, is the future bright as this freshman class will continue to mature. Same for Syracuse.
Syracuse continuing to run a lot of that horns action, that double screen, and allowing Tiana Nakahia to kind of create against this man-to-man.
Shot clock is getting skinny. Tiana found Angsler, who got her shot blocked. And with 1 second left on the shot clock, I think we might have a foul here.
Really nice late find by Nakahia. And yeah, I thought Angsler got hit on the arm there when she went up. But it's going to be Syracuse ball.
Reset the shot clock to 20.
That's where Angsler may miss a little bit of the extra pounds, is on the finishes on the inside, because sometimes it just helps you in terms of your girth. And nice pass back to Nakahia, but nice, better defense by North Carolina.
Just Just able to get right in the passing lanes. Utsby was cut off on the baseline, and that set up the outside shot by Kelly. Now Carolina has gone cold after a very fast start. They hit only one of their last 7 shots. There needs some contact, couple of times, nothing called as Williams. How about 4 times the charm?
And no one gets to Williams to box her out. I can't believe she even had that many shot attempts. Definitely helped her rebounding, but hurt her field goal percentage.
Yeah, all of it in the paint. Cardozo with the foul.
Keep in mind, North Carolina doesn't have a lot of size on this roster. So right now, Williams is trying to get this up and over a couple of guards with outstretched arms, and they do a nice job. But at some point, you got to get to the body and just push her back, get her away from the bucket, and give the credit to Williams for not giving up on it.
Priscilla Williams, again, the ACC Freshman of the Week, next to that 26-point effort. In just 27 minutes against Miami, in which she hit all of her shots.
And this is somewhere where North Carolina can really help themselves, is by getting to the free throw line. They haven't done a good job of that in recent games, not as well as we had seen them. They did get there 17 times against Virginia Tech, 14 for 17, but they want to be more consistent in those attempts. They only got there 10 times against Miami.
Second chance thanks to Cardozo. Kara Lewis gets fouled on her way into the basket. It's like Utsby picked it up.
Kara Lewis can be very explosive off of the bounce. She gets to the middle of the floor. The freshman tries to commit. I like the effort, but you got to get outside of the restricted area on that help rotation and try to take a charge.
And that's a big foul for Utsby, who has to sit down now. 3 personal fouls for the freshman from Rochester, Minnesota. Lewis at the line. Miami, Pittsburgh, and North Carolina State, Florida State. Our doubleheader coming your way Thursday on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Going to be interesting to see NC State getting back on the court. Now the number 2 team in the country. Who's number 1?
The Louisville Cardinals. Congratulations to Jeff Walls in his program. The number 1 team. Stanford lost to Colorado. Huge upset in the Pac-12 over the weekend, which moved the Cardinals up to that number 1 spot in the country. But I'll be glad to see NC State back on the court, because we've missed them for a while. They have been gone due to COVID-19 complications and obviously testing, so protocols. So they'll come back as number 2, and that will be a big game, you know, just to kind of get their rhythm and get back into the flow of things on Thursday.
Todd Williams, 1 of 2 from the line. And there is your brand new Associated Press top 10. And yes, the ACC has the top 2 spots. And boy, NC State, good news. The NC State Louisville game that had to be postponed from last Thursday will be played on February 1st on the ESPN family of networks. So we're pleased that that has been rescheduled. Priscilla Williams, hits for Syracuse.
And some pressure here from the Orange.
Kelly can't get it to go, but Janelle Bailey was sandwiched between 2 Orange players and still got the follow.
Where North Carolina has had success most often in this game so far has been in transition, either off of a miss or off of their defense. When they got some pace going behind them, it's always a good thing, but there Bailey just gets a rebound and put back.
So Syracuse with a 4-point lead over North Carolina, as there's a timeout on the floor. Welcome back to Syracuse. Deja Kelly is one of the many talented freshmen that North Carolina has been relying heavily on this year, LaChina.
Yeah, this is a young Tar Heel team. A lot of turnover from last year's roster. Top 10 recruiting class for Courtney Banghart. And Deja Kelly is the most noteworthy because she was a McDonald's All-American. But this is a very talented young group of players, but you could imagine the inconsistency. And that's one thing that not only Courtney talked to us about, but also Quentin Hillsman, is just the inconsistency of freshmen and how that can change the tide of any moment throughout the season and how you respond to losses and them finding their way. And obviously think about COVID and stoppage and all of that. So I don't think either one of these teams has really reached their potential quite yet, as some of their younger players, their more important pieces, are still getting comfortable.
Yeah. Take a look at Coach Hillsman. His team was basically shut down for an entire month when you factored in both the Christmas break and the COVID protocol. Shatenke takes a seat, but yeah, just trying to get the pieces in place as well for both teams. A lot of very talented freshmen, and North Carolina with some depth. They don't have one player in the top 25 in minutes in the entire ACC. So still trying to figure some things out. Coach Banghart played a lot of freshmen early and has kind of mixed and matched since then. Engsler can't get it. Strapana, good hustle. And they get it outside. Williams misses. It's off the top of the backboard, so the ball goes over to the Tar Heels.
Syracuse does such a nice job of getting to the offensive glass, and they've done that in this game. That is 10 offensive rebounds for the Orange so far.
They're out rebounding North Carolina now by 13. Kahia on the money to Engsler.
Those two players know each other kind of well, you know. See the chemistry there, and the defense from Engsler.
Biggest lead of the game right now for Syracuse is extended. Nope, Lewis with the miss, but as you mentioned, they just keep hitting the offensive glass, but Strapman called for steps.
You know, a lot of players will give the ball to the player that's closest to them. Tiana Mungakahia tries to get the ball as close to the basket as she can. You got to love playing with her because she is going to get it right to your hands and make it easy to lay up. And Engsler's right there. Good catch by Engsler as well to get it up to go.
Well, you got to be aware. You got to be looking for the pass all the time when a player like Tiana's out there. She has 5 assists already today and just 1 turnover. Tiana in her first 3 years averaged over 9 assists per game, sitting at about 6 assists, which for everybody else on the planet would be wonderful, but is about a third lower than her career total before she had to sit out. Yes, no one has more assists in the history of this program than the Australian. Tiana will turn 26 in the spring.
And I mean, hey, she has the option of this is the season of forgiveness in NCAA basketball, so she might want to stick around a little while.
WNBA certainly is something that she has had her eye on, and several general managers certainly have been looking at her for a while. Wanted to come back last year, could have gone to the draft because of her age, but wanted to come back last year, and then the cancer hit. And there you see the numbers. The assists are down about 3 per game. The scoring is down, but they have so many more options now out on the court. She doesn't need to do a lot of scoring.
And how inspiring is that? I mean, to return to the court at all after going through a very life-changing experience. The toughness she's shown, I mean, incredible. She is just fantastic, not only in what she does, obviously, between the lines, but her character. She's so kind and just a great person whenever we talk to her behind the scenes. And so I'm telling you, Syracuse has a ton of fans just cheering them on this year, hoping that we can watch Tiana play for a long time, just in case she does decide to make the leap to the next level. But just an incredible story.
Yeah, just picked up a lot of fans over the last couple of years. Diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer in June of 2019. Had a double mastectomy, and the story well documented. If you're not familiar, go up and look it up. But she right, whenever we visited with her last year, always had a smile on her face. No hair, plenty of smiles. And the hair's coming back.
And the hair's coming back. Hair looks great.
Just a delightful Australian.
Got the 2 cornrow look going. I'm digging it.
North Carolina, after a fast start on offense, has been stagnated, and Bailey has really been shut down. There's a foul on Angsler on the second opportunity, but Janelle Bailey just 2 of 7 from the floor.
Bailey just trying to make something happen. Dips that shoulder a little bit, and then Angsler should have just played straight up there. You know, it's just not worth it. Once you are playing defense and you're not vertical, you put yourself in a position where you can get a foul called on you. And, you know, looking at North Carolina's trends offensively, they've got 12 fast break points. So 12 of their 28 are from fast break. They've got to get this pace going. They just haven't had as much success in the half court.
Haven't had a lot of success at the line either. They were just 2 of 7 before that trip by Janelle Bailey. Now 4 of 9. Stephanie Watts goes out. Angsler goes out. She's John. She's from Queens. She probably was still upset about that foul call.
So Angsler and Cardoso with 2 fouls. Usby left the game with 3 fouls for North Carolina, so that changes the rotation for both of these squads.
Strotmanoff saw a little bit of a lane, but a little bit too strong off the glass. Here's Deja Kelly, who's able to bring it up all on her own. That was a sweet pass, but a better block by Strotmanoff. And now Syracuse on the way back. Priscilla Williams has cooled off. But another offensive board for the Orange. What a pass. Here Lewis couldn't bury it to get Tiana another assist, and then committed the foul.
Todd Williams has those long arms and was there just to distract Lewis, but look at Digna Strautmana getting back in time to get that block and not foul with the body with that kind of momentum moving in the full court. And Syracuse is going to have to play small here for the remainder probably of the second quarter because of their foul trouble, because they are without Finkley. So they may look to pick up the pace, but Todd Williams will get to the free throw line.
Angsler on the bench with 2 fouls. Kennedy Todd Williams, a freshman from Jacksonville. Coach Banghart compares her to Scottie Pippen, says she can just do so many things so well. So she's a very cerebral player.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites to watch on this team. I mean, I understand the inconsistencies because we saw her play a great game against Virginia Tech, but the game before that, she had just had 4 turnovers. It's kind of the life of a freshman, just trying to survive and learn and find her way. And yes, Coach Banghart said she is very cerebral, thinks the game.
Sometimes thinks too much. Inside Lewis. Boy, Hughes has gotten some good looks.
And you got to kick it out there, you know, and I tell guards this all the time. You know, you go in amongst the trees, and it's nice when you can finish it, but there may be a higher percentage shot, especially on a kick out for 3 when you're playing on a team like Syracuse that can make it rain from beyond the arc.
You don't tell the guards, pass it to me every time? That wasn't your message?
Well, if they're trying to hog my space in the lane, I don't know if there's enough space for both of us underneath the basket. I don't need them bringing their defense to me, so I'm okay with them kicking it out.
Yeah, then get the heck out, right?
Yeah, and then get out. so it can come back in.
On your pool, another freshman getting a couple of free throws. Friday night, we'll have our next bald man not on campus. Jay Billis, Alfonso Ellis, Seth Greenberg preview the ACC slate of weekend games only on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Q could be on that show.
Ooh, he could. He would bring some fashion to that thing as well.
He would spiffy it up a little bit. Boy, Syracuse just 4 of 22 from the floor in this quarter. So after really a fun first quarter, Syracuse had a 3-point lead coming into the first, now tied up.
Yeah, second quarter has not been as fun. These teams really
18%, by the way, is 4 of 22. Not good.
Yeah. Well, they've adjusted, taken away the fast break and taking care of the ball, not giving up points off turnovers. And, you know, we've had both teams contesting well at the rim, so taking away high percentage looks in the paint. think we've already got like 7 blocks total in this game in the first half.
Syracuse had gone 3 minutes and 15 seconds without points before Strautmanoff delivered at the line. Bailey underneath, left open momentarily, and that's all she needed.
Just kidding, we've got 5 blocks. That's me over-exaggerating.
Used to it. Cardoso has 10 rebounds already for Syracuse. Nobody on either side has more than 7 points. On Kahia to Lewis. Drives the baseline and then was met by Poole. Knocked it out of bounds, so the Orange have 7 seconds to shoot.
Okay, so we have 6 blocks. And that number keeps moving.
Still not 10. Another turnover for Syracuse. Left open. And the air ball by Todd Williams. And Syracuse plus 15 in rebounding after getting out-rebounded the first time they played. Coach Hillsman said they just came out and were flat from the get-go in Chapel Hill. Different start today, but the second quarter has been not awesome for them.
But only 8 second chance points, and you got to credit Carolina. There have been some looks around the rim where the Tar Heels have just smothered them, but not that one by Lewis. Finding her way to the rack.
Lewis nicely off the bounce after she'd missed 7 of her first 9 shots. Left open, rims out, rebound, taken down. And Syracuse brings the ball up.
You could hear Quentin Hillsman. Who was Quentin Williams? I don't know how many times or why I keep saying that, but Quentin Hillsman keeps saying, move. He wants his team to start moving on offense. And on the kick out, Strautmanoff.
That's her second field goal. Shot clock is off. Bailey has the mismatch, but decided not to take advantage. Poole inside, got it right before the buzzer went off. No doubt they will take a look, but it looks like Anya Poole was able to beat the buzzer. So it's a 5-point advantage for Syracuse. A terrific start to this game for both sides. But the Qs up 3 at the break. Welcome back to ACC Network Basketball, presented by Geico. Syracuse out on the floor as they're warming up. They lead North Carolina by the score of 40-37. Second time they played this year. Carolina won in Chapel Hill just last month. That was December. Pam Ward along with LaChina Robinson. And a really good first quarter in this one. Boy, Carolina came out with a good pace for sure.
Yeah, it was an up and down game, just really fast paced in the first quarter. It did slow down quite a bit in the second quarter, but I thought that North Carolina had the most success when they were playing off of their defense and getting in passing lanes, getting defensive rebounds, and just pushing. Early offense is good, especially because you don't have to shoot against the setup Syracuse zone, and you also, if you beat their pressure full court, you can get some easy ones behind that at the rim. But how about the shot blocking of Digna Strautmanoff? I just thought she was great in helping to cover up shots. There was some foul trouble in the front line for Syracuse in that first half, and I thought she did a good job of just hustling to challenge shots in that time. And then one really bright spot for the Tar Heels in the first half, Stephanie Watts hits a 3 after 20 tries of not hitting them, and then defensively, she is in the passing lane and got some buckets to go. So that is a good sign for Courtney Banghart. North Carolina had 17 bench points. Syracuse only had 8, and Watts' points were off of the pine.
And you see Syracuse doing the job on the glass. Now, North Carolina had out-rebounded their first 9 opponents, and then were out-rebounded in their loss to Virginia Tech the other day, getting out-rebounded now, including on the offensive glass, but Syracuse is not really taking advantage of that.
Yeah, they have not gotten the buckets to go. And you have to credit North Carolina because they're not big inside, but at some of their positions, they're really long. And so they've covered up some of those looks under the bucket, some of those second chance opportunities. I'm sure that's a place where Quentin Hillsman will want his team to take advantage in the second half.
Now the ACC rolling on. Two of the top 3 teams in the nation play in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Louisville is now number 1, NC State number 2, even though I hear that my colleague here might have that reversed, right?
I did have that reverse, actually. NC State has been the number 1 team in my AP poll for a little while here, so still ACC, but we missed that matchup between those 2 teams, but glad it's rescheduled for February.
Yeah, they're going to play February the 1st. You see Syracuse at number 23. 80% of the games have been scheduled, but the University of Virginia this past week has decided to shut down their season, joining Duke. Tina Thompson, the head coach, talked about coaching a resilient group of women. The decision to end the season midstream comes with great difficulty, but says it is a necessary one. So Virginia had been dealing with some COVID issues. They were kind of short because of injuries and other issues as well. Carol Lawson at Duke shut down their season, and outside of the ACC, our former colleague here at ESPN, the head coach Stephanie White of Vanderbilt, yesterday they decided to pull the plug on their season as well. So that are 3 teams now from the power conferences that are not playing anymore in women's college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, you and I were prepping for a Virginia game that we actually did not get to do because of some COVID rescheduling, but they are a team that's been hit hard. Their roster was really depleted this year, so you just imagine the toll that it takes trying to get even enough players to have a practice, and those that are pushing through injury and then the COVID protocol. It just seemed like the season really started to wear. And you know, in my opinion, there's no judgment when you decide to end your season, because no one knows what your particular program has had to go through, what you've had to face, what your student athletes are experiencing. So to me, it's a program by program decision, and I have respect for those that have decided to compete as well as those that have decided that they want to end their season.
Yeah, and the stresses anyway of being a student athlete, particularly at high academic institutions, and Duke and Virginia both certainly fall in that category in the ACC. So Tiana Mangakahia, let's take a look. The most career assists in the history of this league. Lindsey Allen, number 1, the former Notre Damer. Christy Tolliver scored a lot of points, but also number 3, but Tiana now is in the top 6.
And what I like about
player.
her game today is that we don't see as many turnovers. She's had some high turnover games this season. And again, we mentioned Quentin Hillsman told her to slow down, let the game come to her, and we just see a more relaxed Tiana, and also just a more precision passing Tiana coming off of that rest. We mentioned the foot injury she suffered early in the season against Miami. Well, this 28 days between games has allowed her to rest that foot, and she looks much better, much more spry, pushing off and getting up and down the floor.
And 5 assists, just 1 turnover in the first half. And I don't know, Quentin Hillsman might have been hearing what you were saying off air during the break, as trying to get it inside a little bit now. It's Priscilla Williams, but Cardoso had 10 rebounds, but only 2 points in the first half for Syracuse. Maybe feed the beast a little bit more?
I would like to see it. I'm always for a post advantage, especially with a 6'7" height. You just don't see that. But I do like that he's using Priscilla Williams on the inside as well. She's 6'2" on the wing, and not a lot of guards are 6'2" and can defend her down low with her length. So I like that call to get her going inside.
Cardoso comes up trying for the block, but picks up that foul, and that might, if that's on her, that's her second.
Stephanie Watts looking to be aggressive. She came off of the bench in the first half of this game, but is starting here in the third quarter. And why not, with the type of energy she brought with her when she checked in, number 5 in blue.
That's 7 points, all of it in the first quarter. Stephanie Watts had started every game until today. Maybe a move too, you think, LaChina, to take some of the pressure off, bring her in off the bench so she's not starting. But as soon as she came in, it didn't take her long to take that 3-point shot, and she hit it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they had run out of ideas as far as take her off the bench, you know, start her, did a little bit of everything they felt like they could. And, you know, you just never know when you're going to hit that first one. And there is the height advantage for Syracuse on the inside. 6'7", Camila Cardoso only missed 2 field goals out of her last 20 attempts. Just goes hard to the left against Janelle Bailey, where she's got at least a 5-inch height advantage. I know Bailey's listed at 6'4", but I think she's around 6'2".
Cardoso misses the free throw. Quickly down the floor. Watts unable to convert. Kahia 2-on-3. Is she going to wait for help? Yes, indeed she does.
And I apologize, that was against Malou Chitinge, so she does have about a 6-inch height advantage on her.
Yes, for real. Now the other end, Bailey got hit by Strotmanov. Good action to start. There's Janelle Bailey, the senior from Charlotte, first-team All-ACC performer last year. And we see Maeva Jaldi-Tabdi come in. She only played 1 minute in the first half because she picked up 2 fouls.
How about that mask that Quentin Hillsman is wearing? He's so stylish. I don't even know what to call that design. That's a new one on me. I don't think I've seen that one.
We've seen Q.
Like
he is
cockish. I don't know what that one is.
You have to ask him how he would describe it.
Yeah.
Because we know that he's certainly one of the more stylish dressers in all of women's college basketball. Has a lot of masks. There's Jaldi-Tabdi shooting over, and the roll just wouldn't go. Watts on the move, guarded by Lewis. Kicks it out. Deja Kelly has a chance for a 4-point play.
What a big shot for the momentum of the Tar Heels. Good drive by Watts, inside-outside action. And at 6'2", Priscilla Williams could have challenged that shot without running all the way out, and just gets her feet tied up with Kelly, who was unable to land, and that is a foul. That's 4 points there. Really quick for the freshman.
Yeah, you gotta like 4-point plays if you're a Carolina fan. 8-2 run now for Carolina as they have taken the lead, 45-44. We had 3 ties and 6 lead changes in the first half alone. Establishing underneath again.
Yeah, Maeva Jaldi-Tabdi is really talented on the offensive end. I thought she took some steps forward last year with what she was able to contribute offensively. And gets back and gets the block as well. What a sequence for number 3 for Syracuse. Right here offensively, just gets Chitinge on her back, and that's an easy score. And then the block on Kelly, who thought she was getting to the rim.
No, said Jaldi-Tabdi. Plays for some French national teams.
Look at you.
And actually with enough talent to start, but prefers coming off the bench, and she's shown some good punch coming off the bench right now. Syracuse up 1. Timeout. ACC Network Basketball is presented by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance. Quentin Hillsman, not just the head coach at Syracuse, but also a fine mask model. He's got quite the collection there. His team up by 1 over North Carolina. But does that rival our own LaChina Robinson's masks? Let's take a look at just some of them, right? Tip of the iceberg for you.
Look at these, are fantastic. This is the zebra special, as you can tell from my claws / hooves. And then this is the butterfly mask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, and we're still trying to figure out what to call this.
I told you, it looks like peacock feathers. But what I will say is that the Louis Vuitton mask, I mean, I couldn't even afford that if I wanted to. Quinn's gonna have to let me borrow some money
to
get on that level.
Janelle Bailey with the bucket out of the timeout. Kahia decides to challenge Utsby, and now Watts comes away with it. How about Bailey in front of everybody?
And this is where Carolina really thrives. Getting stops, getting defensive rebounds, getting out on fast break, beating Syracuse up the floor. They did that in game one. That's why they beat them. Right here, a block by Utsby, who got some foul trouble in the first half, but Watts moving with the pass, and Bailey, who got into the best shape of her career in the offseason with aspirations of playing in the WNBA, the first player down the floor, showing that high level of fitness, gets an easy bucket.
North Carolina won in Chapel Hill 92-68. They shot 47% from the floor, the only game in which they've shot at least 40% in an ACC contest this year. Syracuse just shot 29% in that game. Right now, Courtney Banghart's team shooting at 47%, just 35% for Syracuse. Got off to a fast start, but have cooled off. Watts has, Kahia comes out. Bailey over Enxler.
She's got face-up game. Janelle Bailey has continued to get even more comfortable from the perimeter throughout her career at North Carolina. She can line that shot up.
And that will get WNBA scouts excited as that's turned away. This is the biggest lead of the game for the Tar Heels, now up by 5 points.
And North Carolina has done a lot of their work in getting to the free throw line in this third quarter. And that's something we mentioned as one of the keys for this game, is for them to get to the charity stripe.
Yeah, they've been hitting them. They were a little sketchy from the free throw line in the first half. Nice play by Shatenge to keep it alive. Shatenge again coming up with the rebound. Bailey from that spot. Janelle Bailey is on fire. Janelle Bailey has scored the last 8 points for North Carolina, part of this 14-2 run in the third quarter. Jaldi Taub can't hold on to it again. Carolina, a big yell from Shatenge.
Well, Syracuse is going to an offensive option that they haven't used very often this season. I mean, Jaldi Taub went 3 or 4 games without scoring at all. But we mentioned that this is a short rotation. 2 players unavailable for Syracuse. They've had some foul trouble, had to move pieces around, and they're playing a little bit out of character on offense. Everything would normally run through Lewis or run through Tiana Munga-Kahia. Turnover here for the Tar Heels.
Munga-Kahia walking it up. 5 assists, all of them coming in the first half. Enxler has checked in. She's given them some nice offense off the bench. Tiana, big 3 from way far away. And then the answer on the other end. Janelle Bailey right now is unstoppable. Then Lewis answers on the other end. Now they're getting going again.
Yeah, now you feel that pace coming back, and both teams finding scoring space early. There's that high post again from Bailey. Why not?
That one was wide right. Enxler comes up with the miss.
Oh. Syracuse has had some errant passes trying to get it inside, some turnovers that they cannot afford, because on the other end of this, Janelle Bailey, the senior, finding her stroke, the go-to option on offense for the Heels. Love it.
Life's most persistent and
urgent question is,
what are you doing for others?
I've decided to
Stick with love.
Hate is too great a burden to bear.
His words unite us. The game drives us.
united we fall.
Welcome back to Syracuse, where North Carolina has found their stride on the offensive end behind the play of senior Janelle Bailey. She's finding space in the zone. We know that the high post is a good place against that 2-3. She is lining it up, has the face-up game, a lot of confidence right now. Even on the baseline, you can get that zone to flatten out, and early and often, she is looking to be aggressive for her shot. We told you coming into this one that because this is a young North Carolina team, they would need to rely heavily on their 4-year senior Janelle Bailey. And we see the numbers here. First half, 8 points on 9 shots, 12 points on 6 shots in the third quarter alone.
Janelle Bailey has ripped up Syracuse twice. Last month when they played, she had a season-high 25 against Syracuse. And on her way to bettering that today. Utsby from the outside.
Even though North Carolina hasn't had as many second chance opportunities, they've made the most of more of their looks off of offensive rebounds than Syracuse had, at least through the first half.
Utsby, part of that very talented freshman class, gets the lead back up to 7.
And that is where I would continue to go if I'm Syracuse in the half court, is to Cardoso. I would keep feeding her.
Challenge of Cardoso, who was able to get in the way and bother the shot of Deja Kelly. Now Lewis fires away. Syracuse with the Lewis long 3, cuts it to 2. Bailey continues to be aggressive and can't miss.
The senior with a freshman guarding her. She has the foot speed advantage. Cardoso has the height advantage. But Bailey has the foot speed and mobility, and she is finding and creating space to score.
Janelle Bailey, what a second half. Got 22 points. Lewis taps out her miss to Magakahia. Tiana dribbled into trouble, lost it, tie up. Possession arrow will send it to North Carolina. This is some frustration from Magakahia.
And after 16 first half offensive rebounds for the Orange, that was their first in this third quarter. So North Carolina also doing a better job of keeping them from getting those second chance points.
And North Carolina came into this game one of the best rebounding teams in the nation, 10th in the nation at rebounding margin, 4th in the nation in overall rebounds, but rebounded badly in the first half. Bailey.
Man-to-man here for Syracuse.
Known for their zones. Shot clock down to single digits for Bailey. Takes the big step, and one step too many.
I mean, I like the call for North Carolina to go through Bailey. She just has to know and understand that there's going to be a defensive attention on her and be ready, and everyone else as well, be ready for the next pass out.
Inside 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. And there's the presence of 6'7" Cardoso underneath. Carolina running the floor well with Utsby.
What do we say about Utsby? She's always going to be the first player down the floor. She will go to the glass on every possession. She does all the little things as a freshman. Off of the glass, Bailey keeps her head up. Only a couple of dribbles for Todd Williams. That is just precision passing and nice job of transition, of not over dribbling the basketball, but just making the next best pass ahead to put your teammate in position to score.
A couple of freshmen delivering there. Williams can't get it to fall and then hits the deck rather hard. Again, Priscilla Williams coming in. She has 9 points, just 3 of 12 today after not missing a shot in her last game.
She got the foul called on her, and that's the right call. She made contact with Stephanie Watts, who had very quickly gotten inside position on that rebound. That's great hustle by Watts. Oh wait, maybe they changed it. I thought it was a foul on Williams.
Courtney Banghart's as confused as we are.
Oh, they called it on Watts.
Wow, that's 3 on Watts. That is surprising. Wide left by Williams. Again, Priscilla Williams, the ACC Freshman of the Week, has not been hot today, but Stephanie Watts.
Watts was not happy about the officials calling that foul on her.
Yep, that's payback.
A couple of easy misses, but Williams sticks with it.
Stephanie Watts broken 0 for 20. 3-point shooting slide, hit her first one of the game back in the first quarter. And has hit 2 of them today in 3 tries. Bailey couldn't handle it.
Good read by Jaldi Toppy. Bailey likes to put the ball on the deck and turn her back. Good defensive read.
Williams misses again. 2-on-1, get inside of Williams, count it.
How explosive are Carolina's freshmen in transition. We saw Utsby. I'll throw Watts in there as well, but Todd Williams with this long stride, the Euro step, gets under the outstretched arms of Williams. They've done a good job of finishing on the fast break.
That is the 3rd foul on Priscilla Williams. Bailey sits down, has had a tremendous 3rd quarter. Now Bailey with 14 points in the 3rd.
Carolina just looks different. This is the team that they beat, okay? They have struggled in recent games, but to get on the floor against a team you've had success against gives you some confidence, gives you a boost, and you can see that in the way they're playing.
Very little difference between the shot and game clock now for Syracuse. Lewis, the senior, getting over to Engstler, thought about it, now does pull the trigger. Good ending to the quarter for Syracuse, but North Carolina, behind Janelle Bailey's 14 points in that 3rd quarter, have the lead.
How about the Tar Heels? 30 points in that 3rd quarter on the road against a ranked Syracuse squad. Courtney Bankhart's gotta love this.
I want you to check out men's basketball coming up tomorrow night on the ACC Network as Wake Forest goes into Chapel Hill to take on the Tar Heels right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. 4th quarter getting underway. Pam Ward and LaChina Robinson joining you. Boy, North Carolina shot 61% in that 3rd quarter. Priscilla Williams coming off the game of her natural life. A little bit different story today, but in the last 20 years, she's right up there with some other talented players.
Yeah, 4 for 17 today. She did not miss a field goal in their game against Miami. She was 9 for 9 from the field, hit 6 threes, I believe, 26 points, career high. Let's see if the Cuse can feed off of that Engstler basket to end the 3rd quarter, because Carolina shot 61% in that frame. And they're going to have to put up some offense to match it.
Williams, the reigning freshman of the week in the ACC. Mangakahia gets it inside to Lewis, who seemed to take a more difficult trek to the basket, but it paid off.
Well, that time she finished it, but Kira Lewis had missed a few in the paint that I requested she pass out, but she did find some space amongst the trees there.
That one goes out of bounds. Stephanie Watts with the turnover, and now Alyssa Utsby comes back in.
And one thing to remember. All right, Pam.
Go ahead. No.
One thing to remember about North Carolina is even though Janelle Bailey is the only straight four-year senior. Watts, this is her fourth year at North Carolina. She does have experience, and Holoshinska does have experience. So, you know, North Carolina has some players that have been in the battles and been in these tough games on the road.
That's a nice feed inside to Jaldi Tobdi.
Yeah, much better than some of the post-entry passes we saw from Syracuse in the third quarter. And Jaldi Tobdi again with really good defense.
Tiana from three. So a great start to the fourth quarter as the 6-point lead has been trimmed to a single point.
Here come the cues, and who else leading the charge? Tiana Mungakahia with a pass on the interior, and this time keeps it for the three.
Welcome back. ACC basketball presented by Geico. Syracuse has scored the last 10 points of this game, now down just one. Kiara Lewis and Tiana Mungakahia really getting things going, the backcourt for the Orange in this game.
Yeah, these are two players we were looking forward to coming into the season. Last year, Kiara Lewis took over the reins at the point guard spot. Now here comes Tiana Mungakahia back in the lineup, and with these two together, that can be an explosive backcourt, not only with their passing ability, obviously with Tiana, but Lewis can really get it going as well in terms of scoring. She led the Syracuse team in scoring last season. So that was quite a run for Syracuse, and if you look at their last 4 buckets, Tiana Mungakahia was involved in all 4, either with an assist where she got 3 or that 3-point shot that we saw before the break.
Kelly comes in and stops that 10-0 Syracuse run. Tiana Mungakahia coming off a double-double, 10 points and a season-high 10 assists against Miami, has 8 assists so far tonight. And there was a foul, Bailey with the hand check.
Maeba Jaldi Tobdi has had some good moments in the second half. She picked up 2 early fouls, but defensively she ran down, got a block, she got a steal, you know, had a key finish here a minute ago. She had lost the handle on a couple as well, but I'll tell you who is not losing the handle, number 4, White.
Mungakahia with another 3, her 3rd of the game, and Syracuse is now in the lead. They trailed by 6 coming into this quarter.
Go back to that last possession by Syracuse. The inbounder, Mungakahia, with the handoff from Jaldi Tobdi, who holds off the defense for Tiana to get that 3-pointer to go. And since the 28 days between Syracuse games, Tiana looks more confident in her long-range shot.
Block, Cardoso got in on Kelly. This is a 15-4 Syracuse run. Tiana has it rim out. Watts doesn't have numbers, but she doesn't care. She went right for it. I think they're going to call a trip on Lewis. They have their feet tangled up.
You know, I'm curious as to why Syracuse isn't getting someone back. The way that North Carolina has been running the ball down their throats, Lewis was almost there, but why chance it? Get back early so you can set yourself and set your defense.
Williams off the mark big time. Engsler grabs the air ball. Almost getting there is not the same as getting there.
No.
Lewis was called for the foul. Williams with the rebound. Lost it momentarily, but Williams couldn't gather.
Couple of freshmen hitting the deck. That's what you want to see if you're these two coaches, 2 freshmen going after the possession. Williams almost had it.
How fun is it going to be to see these 2 teams square off for the next 3 years after this one with all these talented freshmen on either side? Behind her back to try to get it over the half-court line.
You got to credit Syracuse's response because North Carolina shot 61% in that third quarter, and they had all of the energy, all the momentum. And now it's the Orange that has upped their energy and has really brought it in these first few minutes. North Carolina had a 9-point lead.
See the run there, 13-2 in the last 3 minutes and change. Good response by the Orange. Monacahia with the drive and the dish. Cardoso with the bucket. And now pressure. Leaves Watts open. Drained it.
And that's what you can get on the backside of that Syracuse defense. They're going to trap and bring the pressure, but if you can just remain poised out of it, it's hard for them to get back and rotate out to the three-point line.
So a nice bounce-back game for Watts. Now 3 of 4 from three-point range. Lewis answers.
And how about Monacahia again? No one can stay in front of her. 10 assists.
Tiana Monacahia turning it up here in the fourth quarter. Her second straight game with 10 assists.
I mean, she turns the corner off of that screen, and no one is getting there. Definitely not getting there in time before she can find the open player. I mean, credit her teammates and how she's able to use the screen. They're setting them, and she is just snaking her way into finding good passes.
And there's another bucket for Syracuse. What a run in the fourth quarter. 11 assists now for Tiana. That's a new season high. Utsby gets the friendly roll.
And that's the high post shot that's been there consistently for North Carolina. We saw Bailey knock that down, and that time Utsby. It'll be open against that zone.
In case you're wondering, Tiana's career high, she had 17 assists in a game against Vanderbilt in November of 2017.
Boy, North Carolina is struggling with that double drag screen. And Lewis, as soon as you think you have Tiana Mongacahia's first action, Kiera Lewis shows up and makes a big play.
Utsby, nothing doing. Here's Tiana in the open floor. Chooses Lewis. Watts able to streak in and get the rebound. 5 minutes to go now in the fourth quarter.
Where is Bailey? North Carolina has to try to continue to work through Bailey. She did such a great job in that third quarter. They got to get her some touches.
Instead, Utsby with a nice drive.
And that's a one-on-one isolation against Cardoso, who just doesn't have the foot speed to keep up defensively from the high post.
Yeah, has the height, but not the speed. 4-point game. Angsler, nice pass, but Cardoso was quickly surrounded.
If you are Angsler, you got 6'7" waiting for that ball. You got to get it up.
So the held ball gives it to North Carolina. So you're saying the pass should have been up in the air for the 6'7" player?
Definitely been up, just where she can just catch it and finish it at the rim.
It was a nice find, but the pass not in the right place. You asked for Bailey to get a shot. Cardoso, though, came over and affected it. Whistle out on the perimeter. That was cue Coach Hillsman talking to his point guard, Tiana Monacahia, who has come alive here in the fourth quarter.
They have that relationship. He pushes her. They're very close. Giving her some instruction on that last one. Change of defense there for North Carolina. Went into a zone, and Angsler makes them pay.
Yeah, Angsler has a really nice quick turnaround jumper. Bailey, a little off-balance shot. Easy board for Cardoso. Tiana looks over at Coach Hillsman. Slowing it down a little bit.
Zone again from North Carolina. The way they have struggled to guard Monacahia, I don't blame them for the change in defense. And Cardoso can't get it to go at the rim.
Runner short, and offensive rebounds are in short supply now for the Tar Heels, who again were down by 9 points. Or Syracuse down by 9 points in the third quarter.
And now North Carolina look like they're going back to man-to-man. They've been changing up their defenses, and understandably here in the recent minutes because of Tiana Mungakahia.
Oh, that's a sweet cut, and Lewis delivers. Lewis has 14 points in the second half. Watts, nope, and again, no offensive rebound. Carolina has scored just 9 points in this quarter.
I feel like it's been a while since they've had a break. Maybe it's just me, but I was like, this is a lot of up and down. It may have been a fatigue shot for Carolina. Mungakahia is going to take her time here. And they took that break with 8 minutes left in the quarter. So until one of these coaches or something happens, there's no timeout. That's a long stretch.
I want to remind you, Kelsey Riggs and E.J. Manuel host In Play tonight after the Miami-Syracuse men's game right here on the ACC Network and on the app. We'll discuss everything going on in the ACC, both behind the scenes and on the court. So check that out. Syracuse outscoring Carolina 23-9 in this quarter. Timeout. Welcome back. Fourth quarter getting underway, and Tiana Mungakahia has been ridiculous in the fourth.
Oh, she's been amazing on the offensive end. She's gotten every pass that she's wanted to her teammates, off a drag single, off a drag double. She has just really either called her own number for a shot or found her teammates, and she turned it up. I mean, Carolina had all of the momentum in the third, but it's been all Tiana in the fourth.
How about another double-double? Second straight double-double for Tiana. 13 assists, but she threw that one away.
Well, North Carolina wisely comes out of that timeout and tries to trap Tiana, get the ball out of her hands, and it paid off.
Just 3 turnovers now for Tiana against 13 assists. One thing that was not so good coming in was her assist-to-turnover ratio. She's made that a lot healthier, and there's a block by Cardoso.
Well, man-to-man. We've seen quite a bit of man from Syracuse this afternoon. Digna gets beat, but 6'7" is there. Gets those fingertips on it.
That is her third block of the game. Olesinska back in. We haven't seen a lot of her for a while. Lutsby hit nothing but air, but that's because it was tipped. Banghart's team trying to avoid a third straight loss, but they've missed 9 of their 14 shots here in the fourth quarter, while Mungakahia has engineered this huge offensive outburst for the Orange.
And Syracuse has been more disruptive with their defense in this fourth quarter. I thought Maya Vajaldi-Tabi had a couple of plays early that got the momentum going, and Cardoso, we've seen her contest some shots around the rim. 8 blocks is what I've got for Syracuse in this game. So that's a lot of contesting. And that does not even include the number of shots that they're just able to get a hand up and take away the looks. Because in this lineup with Inksler, Cardoso, and Stroutmana, they're long. They're very tall.
And they are out-rebounding North Carolina by 13. Again, North Carolina coming in as the best rebounding team in the ACC, but the last couple of games, Virginia Tech out-rebounded them by 15 in their last game, and similar numbers this afternoon. But boy, the third quarter, 30 points for North Carolina in that quarter, just 9 so far in the first 8.5 minutes of this one, and Tiana Mungakahia with another double-double this afternoon. Good fourth quarter for her.
And 21 points off turnovers for the Orange. So we mentioned just that effort and stepping up their defense, being able to take advantage of that. But when you've got an offensive weapon like Tiana Mungakahia, who just has incredible vision, can find the right angle, high basketball IQ, she just makes everyone around her better. And Syracuse has 46 points in the paint. Those are high percentage looks. So you didn't get all the three-pointers. You didn't get the 17 three-pointers you got in your last game. But you got some looks right around the rim.
They have hit 9 of them this afternoon. Osinska, nothing doing. And Engstler comes up with the board and is fouled right away.
Pam, you mentioned this earlier, but there's been a stretch in this game where North Carolina hasn't sniffed an offensive rebound. I mean, Syracuse has given them one look at the bucket, and that's it. Some pressure here from the Tar Heels.
And this is what having Lewis, who did play point last year with Manga Kahia out, able to bring the ball up on her own. And a timeout taken by Syracuse with 1:16 left to go in this game.
Well, a lot of things have gone right for Syracuse in this fourth quarter to take over this game. And one of them has been Kiera Lewis. To complement the backcourt to Tiana Mangakahia, Lewis has gotten it going at the right time. Not sure what her shooting is first versus second half, but she seemed to be more efficient with her looks, finishing them in the paint. We saw one go from beyond the arc. Oh, look it. Someone read my mind. Y'all so good. 8 points, 3 for 10 in the first half. Much more efficient in the second, 14 on 9 shots.
And 9 of those 14 points for Kiera have come here in the very decisive fourth quarter, where they have outscored Carolina 23-9. Foul now. Looks like Carolina's just going to resort to that. Syracuse in the bonus. Shinska, you mentioned that she is a veteran. Yes, she is a grad transfer from the University of Illinois. This is her first year in Chapel Hill. And actually visited, or did not visit, it was during the COVID shutdown, and she and Coach Banghart got the telephone conversations going, and Holoshinska committed to come to Carolina without going to Chapel Hill. But Chapel Hill, not a bad place to land.
Not at all.
No.
And all the excitement with Courtney Banghart taking over. And you get the best Jordan brand shoes in the country. I mean, can we add that to the list of things?
And that would make a difference to some recruits, right?
What? Oh,
what?
absolutely.
Silly question.
Those things matter.
As I'm talking to the gear girl.
You're actually not. I'm not a sneakerhead, but I know the significance of Jumpman. I know how important the Jordan brand is.
But you would not turn down, let's say, if those showed up at your doorstep tomorrow, you would not turn down those shoes. Right?
What? No, of course not. And you know what? I would be elated to get them. I'd probably post them on social media and then never wear them.
Why? Because they're too cute?
I'm just getting my cool points. Yeah, you don't wear those. Only if you got somewhere really special to go. And right now, Pam, I'm not going anywhere.
That's true.
So
your kitchen is special, right?
Oh, goodness. You don't even want to know. Been burning it up.
Lewis with another block for Syracuse. Boy, what a great fourth quarter for this team. Boy, you're down 9 with about a minute and change left to go in the third quarter. And you referenced this, you know, they came out with fire in the fourth quarter, and right at the end of the third quarter, we saw Tiana Mangakahia get a little hot about a foul not being called, a little salty out there on the floor. And she came out in the fourth quarter just on fire.
Yeah, she let it fuel her, for sure. I mean, you can see she flipped the switch, and there was nothing North Carolina could do. But that's why she's one of the best guards in the country. That's why she will have an opportunity to play at the next level, is that she has a gift. And finding the open man, reading the defense, making you pay. And when she's shooting the ball well, she's particularly hard to guard because she can knock down the three. And when you close out on her, she is going to find a bucket for somebody.
Absolutely, with the 13 assists. A little nervous when you said flip but you said switch, because she was upset when she was at the end of the third quarter. But Tiana has been great in the fourth, and Syracuse is going to avenge the loss. They lost to this team back in mid-December in Chapel Hill. North Carolina goes down for the third straight game, losing to Miami, Virginia, now Syracuse. And it doesn't get any easier. They've got Notre Dame coming up in their next game on ESPNU. And this Syracuse team about to go to 7-1 on the season, 4-1 in the ACC. The only blemish on their record came to North Carolina, and that will be avenged.
Just a really impressive moment for this Syracuse team. And Pam, I'll be honest, coming into this season, I put a lot of pressure on this Syracuse team. I said that they could be a Final Four surprise team. You know, when you look at what they have, yes, their freshmen need time to get their feet wet, but Cardoso at 6'7" is something that not everyone in the country has. A freshman that has the confidence to hit 6 threes and go without missing a field goal in the game, not everyone has that. And then you add to that Lewis and obviously Mangakahia with the depth of this team. I mean, how many contributions did we see from Jolly Tabi, Digna Strautmana, and her shot blocking ability? I mean, the experience and the style of play, that's another key, is that if you can't knock down threes, you can struggle with the Q. So they've played more some man in this game as well. But I just really believe in the magic of this team, and Inksler, in my opinion, is the X factor. She is the player coming off of the bench that will be the game changer when it's all said and done.
Last 11 minutes, it's been a 32-11 Syracuse run. Coach Hillsman doing a good job of blending his players. They're accepting their roles. And talk about looking forward to a game. Do you know who Syracuse plays next?
Who, Pam? Tell us.
They're at Louisville.
Numero uno.
Come on now.
What a week.
On ESPN2. I'm watching that one. What a fourth quarter for Syracuse. They hold Carolina to just 9 points in the last 10 minutes. Tiana Mangakahia with her second straight double-double, 19 points, 13 rebounds. Kiara Lewis with 23. Syracuse shot 67% in the fourth quarter. And that puts a capper on a very impressive win for the Orange, now 7-1 on the season. So Janelle Bailey got things going for Carolina.